Hi everybody. Today I will be going over my 2022 bucket list, my 22 things that I want to do in 2022, as well as checking in with my 21 in 2021 and how they went. Holy crap, can I say these things? No, probably not. I already filmed this once, but the footage was all jacked up, so we're doing it again. We're doing it face down because I didn't want to put makeup on today. Not that I need makeup to film, but yeah, I kind of want to. All right, here we go. Here's the spread that I made halfway through the year. You'll notice I stopped really tracking these things. So for some of them, we're just going to kind of think about it. Number 1, read 100 books. No, I think I'm up to 80 books for the year, maybe. I stopped tracking it in here, but I was trying to keep track of it on Goodreads. I will tell you, I think what I've learned from this year is I really hate tracking how many books I'm reading because I like to read when I want to read, and I read plenty. I don't think I'm going to do the book reading this year. I am going to read. I'm just not going to do the Goodreads thing. It's a pain in the ass, and it's not something I would do unless I felt like I was supposed to be doing it. And I'm trying to get rid of the things I'm supposed to be doing that I don't really need to be doing. Anyway, number 2, my year of healthy habits. Obviously here, the tracking was not going so well, but I think I did okay. I had to start reiterating some of the good habits that I had started in the beginning of the year, later in the year. I did keep it at the front of my mind. I'm going to try and take that into the next year, just not in this same kind of sense. Number 3 was read the Daily Stoic. Nope. I finally got to a point where I was like, why are these motherfuckers so goddamn stoic all the time? So I actually fucking gave up on it. This is the second year I've tried and given up on it. So I'm going to go with the fact that I just don't think it's a book that I really feel like reading at the moment. So I found a daily read. I'll show you now. This is not on my 22 bucket list, but it's something I would like to read when I want to read it. So it doesn't have to be read every night, but in case I want to read it. And that is this poem for every night of the year, which is edited by Ali Ezeri. I love poetry, so I thought that this would be awesome, and a lot of the poems that are like collected in here are specifically meant to go with certain nights of the year. So I thought this would be fun. I probably won't keep up with it every single night, but it's something I will return to when I need some quiet time, I think. Number 4, make art each week. Yeah, I pretty much did. Now, was the art that was not work related? No. Most weeks it was art that was work related, but it was still making art every single week. I did not track it the best, but I did pretty much do that. Number 5, call the family each week. Not every single week, but I probably called them way more than I would have if I hadn't set this. So I'm proud of that because I hate the phone with a fiery passion. Number 6, write a will. We still have not done that yet. We know how we're going to do it. We know what we want to do. The holiday season is really, really tough for Jesse when it comes to work. It was tough for me this year, so we'll probably try and get this done early in the new year. Did not get finished. I'm sorry. I keep yawning. Holy shit. Okay, we're good. We're good. We got this. I had forgotten to put down number 7, so I wrote it down here. Quarterly book clubs? No. I still have not found a rhythm with book club that works well for me. I'm hoping to do that in the new year, but we will see how that goes. I love doing book clubs. I just haven't found a way to do it that has been sustainable for me. Number 8, adventure every month. Yeah, for the most part. I would say that the hardest part of adventuring, even if the adventures are small, has been in the last couple of months with all the family stuff we've been dealing with. But even then, like in December, we went to Meow Wolf, and that was goddamn fucking whack adventure. So I feel like we have adventured more than we would have. I'm down with that. Coffee dates weekly. More than half, less than 3/4 of the time. Number 10, new creators monthly. I've found new creators monthly in all sorts of genres. I have not been as good at sharing them, which is a bummer because that was part of why I wanted to do this. What I would like to do is just make it a habit to share new creators that I find. Jess and the shop forever. I wanted Jesse to take over some aspects of the shop. We got to the point where he had gone over the information, and then work for him blew up, so he hasn't been able to do that. However, RJ is considering working with me in the shop, so we will see how that goes. Number 12, file for an LLC. Well, that kind of went a little wacky. We thought we were going to do it in California, and then we found out about the Denver move, which if you have not been watching my channel, I wound up setting all of this and then finding out that we were moving to Denver for my husband's job in the summer from California. Did the research. I know what I'm supposed to do to file for an LLC in Colorado, so that's hopefully on my list for this year. I know there's some things I have to do first, so it's a little bit more complicated of a process than I originally expected. Number 13, A time tracking routine. I did find one I liked, and I'm going to take aspects of that into the new year, specifically work related, as part of my work goals for this next quarter. And I didn't really film a video for my work goals for this next quarter. I didn't know if you guys would find that interesting. If you would like to see one, let me know in the comments below and I will do it. Hopefully. Number 14, monthly creative dates with myself. I would say I probably got this about 80% of the months, and I'm good with that. Number 15, explore Denver. Not really. I mean, we've explored some of the area around our house when it comes to food, but like other than that and like shopping, but we've been very wrapped up in work and in family health issues. And so that has not been happening, not even in like a safe pandemic kind of way. So this does show up on my personal goals for next year, which you can find linked below. Number 16, morning stretching routine. Nope. I did, however, get a Peloton, which was not on my list, and I have discovered that I like that. So it may not be a stretching routine, and I still need to find one of those. But I did find exercise I kind of like. I kind of don't love it because I don't love exercise, but I kind of like it, so I consider that a win. Number 17, move and completely unpack. We did that. Organizing, not so much, but we did move and completely unpack. It did help that we decluttered hell of shit, and we went from a 1,100 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house to a 3,400 square foot, 5-bedroom, 3-bath house. So we didn't have so much shit to unpack in the first place, but we did do that. Number 18, teach kids monthly adulting. That went pretty well for a lot of the year. This last couple of months, it's sort of fallen by the wayside again because of some aforementioned family health struggles that we've been dealing with. Number 19, set my new office up. I did that. Still a work in progress, and I will be doing an updated office tour in the month of January, so you'll get to see sort of where I'm at now, which is different than what I showed you when I first moved in back in the summer. Number 20, walk 21 minutes daily. No. But I did walk more, especially in the second half of the year after we got Layla. I'm trying really hard to go with Jessie for walks most days. Although right now it's cold as balls, so I really don't want to go outside. And then number 21, find a living donor. Have not done that yet, although I do have some wonderful people getting tested. If you are interested in potentially being a living donor, shoot me a message over on Instagram and we will talk. That was my 21 in 2021. But I do like that there were focuses. That was something that I was glad to have. So let's go into my bullet journal. And the way this one is organized is based on the Moxie Life goal setting system with the different colors. That's why you see these colors on the sides. You can see more of this setup in my bullet journal setup, which I will leave also linked down below. These are all connected to my goals in these categories. So they play together. I've got my Moxie Life up here in the corner so I can reference what the goals are. I'll just tell you what the focuses are. That should help you. But these are all related to the focuses in each area of the Moxie Life. And I will say that none of these are work related except for one under the work and learning category, which I'm taking as like professional development rather than work itself. All right, so this first category is the personal category. My focus in this category this year is self-care through hobbies and setting boundaries. And so I have 6. This is the one category that has the most, which makes sense because this is a bucket list of things I want to do personally, right? Number 1 is to buy a large houseplant for the living room. I have done a fairly good job keeping very small houseplants alive for the most part. So over the course of the year, I want to graduate to some larger plants. I would like to understand better how to keep plants alive in the Denver climate, especially inside where it gets really dry. I personally am drying out and my plants are as well. So I'd like to get to a point where I can feel comfortable investing because large houseplants are expensive. And I don't want to buy one and then kill it, right? So I want to get to that point by the end of the year. I know exactly where I want to put it. There is a spot in my front room, a perfect place to put a large houseplant. The previous owners had one there and I loved it. So that's what I want. I want that spot to have a large houseplant by the end of the year. Number 2 is to complete a large scale acrylic painting. So I have dabbled in acrylics in the past and I'm really interested in practicing both with gouache and with acrylic over the next year, just for my own love of art. And I'm excited to do that. However, even when I've done those things, I've never felt comfortable on a large scale. I've done a couple of large scale oil paintings when I was in high school. I did one for a Bob Ross video here on the channel, but for the most part, I tend to work fairly small. Doing a large scale acrylic painting, how large? I don't know, at least 20 by 20, if not bigger. So I can hang it on the wall in my house. I would love to do that. And I think it'll, again, like the plant thing, it'll take me a little while to work up to it. And so that, I think, gives me something to strive towards. Number 3 is to feel confident with wok tossing. If you don't know what wok tossing is, when you're cooking with a wok, there is, especially over open flame, one of the things that you can do is something called the breath of the wok, where you toss it. And so you're stir frying, but not just with you're using the spoon, but you're also tossing it with your hand. This looks really, really perverted, but like you tossing it so that the stuff flips around and gets like the heat, but without like sitting and like scorching. And I have done a fairly decent job recently learning to start cooking with a wok and seasoning it and everything else and stir frying. But that tossing thing is something I am so terrified to try. So by the end of the year, I would like to be at a point where I am comfortable, maybe not fabulous, but like I also don't want to scorch myself with hot noodles all over my face. So working on wok tossing is on my list of things to do in the new year. Number 4 is to find, and I didn't put this, but find and actually like use my new favorite farmer's market. There's a lot of farmer's markets in our area. We have not been to any of them yet. I know that to find my new favorite farmer's market, I have to go to some of them. So there's that. And then once I find it, I need to go to it a few times to know it's my favorite. The kids are totally down to be in on this with me because they also love going to farmers markets. It was one of our favorite things to do in Napa. So finding our new favorite farmers market has a few requirements. It needs to be open when I can go with the kids. It needs to be close enough so it's not a pain in the ass to get to. You know, parking, all of those things. There's a lot that goes into it besides whether or not it's a great farmer's market. Like it could be the best farmer's market ever, but if it's 45 minutes away, I may not want to go to it. Or if it's only open on Wednesdays, then my kids can't go and Jesse can't go. That's on my list of things to do, probably when it gets a little warmer, because even though a lot of them are open year round here, it's, as I've already said, cold as fucking balls outside right now. Number 5 is to read a new fantasy series. New to me. Doesn't have to be new. I have a couple on my list. Brandon Sanderson has been on my list for quite some time, and N.K. Jemisin is the other one that's high on my list. I may start with N.K. Jemisin. Like I said before, I don't want to track my reading, but I would like to find a new series and dig into it. This last year, I read A Discovery of Witches, and I read all 3 of those books, and it was so delightful to get into a book series again that I hadn't read before. I'm a rereader. I love rereading books, but I'd love to have a new set of books to reread on the regular, so that's on my list. And number 6 is to successfully make a Scotch egg. I am obsessed with the idea of Scotch eggs. They're a hard-boiled egg surrounded by sausage that's breaded and fried. Fucking delicious. And I saw one of my favorite YouTube cooks, Josh Weissman, do a Scotch egg that had a soft-boiled egg in it rather than a hard-boiled egg. And then I was like, oh, that's what I want right there, because I love me some runny yolk. So that's my hope, is to make a Scotch egg without burning my kitchen down. On this page, we have 3 of my goals represented. And so there's much less per goal. Like I said, the personal on the front was the one that has the most. This first color, the orange, is the fun and recreation goal. And my focus for the year is to bring more adventure and rest into my life. There's 3 items here. The first one is to visit the Stanley Hotel. Jesse and I have really been wanting to do this potentially for our anniversary in the summer. I am a huge Stephen King fan. The Stanley Hotel is the hotel that he was inspired to write The Shining at. They have a ghost tour. They have all sorts of things. I'd love to stay in room 217, but that's a really hard room to get into. If we can't get into it, then at the very least, I'd like to stay in a nice room and just visit the hotel and then make a reservation for like 2 years from now to go visit that specific room. I don't think Jesse's down with that plan, but I do want to go, even if it's a day trip, to visit the Stanley Hotel. It's an hour and a half from here, man. It shouldn't be that fucking hard, Cindy. Number 8 is to take Layla on a road trip. Layla's our new puppy. She's almost 8 months old, and we are slowly indoctrinating her to being okay in the car. We have some ideas on what kind of a road trip we'd like to take with her, and they involve a lot of driving. We're trying to work our way up to that, but what I want is to take Layla on some kind of a road trip that at the very least is several hours in the car, if not like an overnight or a weekend. Number 9 is to visit a new Denver museum quarterly, and I underlined it with new because I want it to be new to us. So for example, we would love to go back to Meow Wolf because it was fucking rad. I'll leave the vlog linked down below. We've already been there. So I want to go to a new to us on my list. And when I say museum, I'm leaving this kind of general because on my list are things like the Denver Botanic Gardens and the Natural History Museum, the aquarium. I'd love to have dinner in the aquarium because they have a restaurant where you can be surrounded by fish, which I think is so cool. There's also several art museums. There's a lot of places I'd like to visit. Hitting up a new one each quarter, assuming we can be safe, is high on my list of adventures that also involves exploring our new city. Now, number 10 is my only one that is on this entire list, which is work related, and it's work and learning. My focus for the year is to build a surface pattern design portfolio that I'm proud of, as well as my skills. And what I would like to do is complete the immersion course. I took it last year. I found so much value in it. I did not finish it mainly because I was sucked so hard into some of the earlier modules that really delve into Illustrator, that some of the later modules around like building out your portfolio and marketing, I was really digging into the technical side of things. And so what I would like to do is retake it as an alumni. I can do that for much less expensive. And I will be talking more about the immersion course later on before it opens up because some of you have asked about it, but I want to get through the entire thing as preparation for that end of the year development goal. Like I want to build this portfolio, not necessarily to build a stream of income, although that would be the final goal, but to find out if this is really something I want to build income with. My next 2 are related to family and relationships. That's the purple. And my big focus for the year is communication and quality time. First of all, I'd like to host friends for dinner once a quarter. Again, if it's safe. What I would really, really like to do is not have a big dinner party. That doesn't feel very safe to me, but to have at least like a friend over for dinner once a quarter. That'll feel that we're being like very meticulous with who we let over, but it also will help socialize Layla. One of our friends has a dog that we would love to become friends with Layla. She's a big sweetie, also named Lucy. That's on my list. The other thing is to have monthly breakfast or lunch dates with each kid on their own. I actually do something similar to this already with one of my kids. RJ and I will have gyros. Well, he'll have gyros and I'll sit with him in the car during lunch at school. I know Kat prefers breakfast. Kat likes to go to the original pancake house and get the giant Dutch baby pancake. I don't have a problem having breakfast or lunch with both of them, but I love having one-on-one time with each of them. And so I just want to make sure. RJ was like, well, since you're already doing that with me almost once a month, why don't we just do it weekly? And I'm like, that's a lot of gyro for me to smell in the car. And I don't know if I can handle that, but it's just something I want to do to make sure that I'm really getting some time to focus on my kids without being distracted by everything else, which is a big thing I would like to focus on this year. How many times can I say focus in this video? I don't know. So we have 3 more goals on this page. The first one, the blue goal, is my health and wellness goal. And my focus for the year is to be as ready as possible for transplant, which really means being compliant with everything I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm doing okay. Maybe moderately better than okay, but I want to be like a fucking dream transplant patient. I want them to love me. First of all, number 13, I would like to hit my century ride on the Peloton, which is 100 rides. I'm not there yet. Currently, I guess I can look at my phone and see how many rides I've gotten so far. I know I've hit 25. I took a big break from the Peloton for about a month and a half, both because we had house guests here for almost the entire month of November, and then I was having a gout flare-up, which was making it really difficult for me to do anything that put pressure on my feet. All right, I'm at 30 so far, so 70 more rides to go. That seems reasonable for the year. So hit my century ride on the Peloton. And number 14 is a big one for me, and that is to give up soda completely. I did a pretty good job giving up Dr. Pepper. That has sort of, I swear, I quit smoking cold turkey, but Dr. Pepper is like the monkey I can't get off my back. So let's give up soda. That's big on my list for this year. The next 2 are related to spiritual and personal growth, my big focus is to reconnect with spiritual community, rediscover my spiritual community. This has to do with moving and with the pandemic, making it real difficult to meet new people and to find a new home in a UU congregation. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I'm also a humanist. Like, I missed my church community. I took a big break after I stepped down off I finished my term on the board, mainly because I started to have, that's when I really fell into like kidney failure. And so it's not just been this year. It's been a few years since I've really, really felt good about having a spiritual community to be a part of. So these two things are fairly obvious. One is to join a UU congregation, and then the number 16 is to join the UU choir at that congregation. The only financial one on this list is number 17, which is to contribute to family savings each month. We actually have specific family savings goals, and it's meant for me to do from my business specifically. And then the last page is the other goal that has the most items, and this is my physical space goal. It should not shock you that I have a lot here, considering we're in this new house. The focus is to continue to maintain and add to our home. And when I say add to, it doesn't mean like build on an addition. It just means like add to the walls, the furniture, blah, blah, blah. The organization. Oh God, I need so much organization. Number 18 is to hire a regular cleaning service. I talk a lot more about this in my goals video, but I'm in kidney failure. One of my kids is severely physically limited right now. My husband works a whole hell of a lot, and I don't want my other kid to have to pick up a lot of the burden. I would like both kids to help around the house more, which we're going to work on. I'd like my husband to help around the house more. But what would be really helpful is if we were able to make it, both work it into our budget, as well as find a service we are comfortable with to come and do some of the deep cleaning, to take that pressure off of all of us. There's so many other things to prioritize right now when it comes to mostly health, mental and physical. Number 19 is to finish all of the walls in our home. This also ties into my personal growth goal. I want to have a piece of my artwork on every wall in my home, and we've started that. But I want every wall in the house to at least have some amount of thoughtfully chosen artwork or other decoration on the walls. I remember at the house in Napa, it felt the most lived in when we got the walls decorated. So that's what I want to work on for this year. Number 20 is to complete a yearly home maintenance schedule. Basically, what I want is to get through a full year and not only know when maintenance and when like regular things are supposed to happen, but to have the schedule, like we've already gone through one iteration of the schedule so that next year it'll be a lot easier. We've already started that with pest control. We're working on some other things. Number 21 is to redo my closet. I have a huge closet that is a lot of sort of wasted space right now, and I would love to do the Alpha system. It's on sale right now until February. I don't know if I'll be able to afford to do it right now or not, but I would love to actually like really like make my closet fucking hella fancy. I would love that. And then finally, number 22 is to decorate my front porch seasonally. I have a beautiful front porch. I have a perfect spot for a little table. And what I would like is to be able to just rotate every season some form of decor out there to make our house look more inviting. First on the list is to get a table out there that can handle the all seasons and to take down all the pumpkins that are still out there, even though it is the end of December. There's still pumpkins out there. There's pumpkins and a Christmas wreath. It's very all over the place. Notice on here, it's not work related, and it's really not, there's nothing like super, it's all really like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels just very fun. Everything in here feels like it could be fun. Everything in here feels like it could just be like something to enjoy. And that's what I want this year. My word of the year is replenish. And I'm hoping that a lot of these things will replenish some of my energy, some of the things I feel about my life. That's the whole goal for this next year. They're so very much tied in with all of my annual goals. So getting them incorporated into my Moxie Life goal setting system each month, each week is going to be, I think, a lot more seamless than just having a bunch of things written in the front of my bullet journal where obviously the tracking was not happening. The hope is that I can utilize this list and my annual goals to just bring them into my life each week rather than worrying about whether I'm going to Goodreads and enter in a number of books. That's my hope. I'd love it if you let me know in the comments below something that you want to do next year that's just for fun, that's just to make you happy. Is it keeping a plant alive? Is it a new kind of cooking? Is it jogging? Yogging with a soft J? Like, what is it? Give me something that you would love to do sometime in the next year in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe this New Year's Eve. I am so thankful for each and every one of you that is here on my videos, that comments, that doesn't comment, if you're a patron or not. Thank you for being here. let's hope that 2022 is at least not shitty. And until next time, my friends, take care, subscribe, and peace out.